So I'm just going to have a guess and probably say that everyone here has been bored or lazy at some point in your life, whether it's at work, whether it's at school, or in a meeting, or even at home. Hopefully not right now, though, but at some point in your life. Being bored leads to laziness, and laziness leads to being bored. It's an endless cycle that almost ends up always in procrastination. A word that makes pretty much everyone panic. We go crazy. We start saying, oh, I need to stop doing this, I need to focus on my work, I need to stop procrastinating. And then if we turn to a friend or a family member, they'll tell you the same thing. Stop procrastinating, stop being lazy, do your work. With social media, we see all these people nowadays, they always seem to be doing something. They always have something going on in their life that seems really exciting. It seems that today it's all about being active, it's all about the hustle. There are so many people becoming successful at a young age that it seems like a race. And what I hear a lot of people say, and what I actually read in a lot of YouTube comments, especially productive TEDx ones, is that I'm actually procrastinating right now watching this video. Or I should stop watching this video and do work. We convince ourselves that it is wasting time to not be working when we should. We have this negative association with it. We see it as a negative behavior. But I'm here to tell you the opposite of that. I'm here to give you the ultimate excuse that you need to do nothing. And I'm going to say that we should be lazy. We should procrastinate because there's a lot of value in that. When you're bored, what do you tend to do? Where does your mind take you? The answer is usually something you are interested in, curious about, or something that you're doing or even thinking about, or maybe something that's not even come to mind and it's come to mind now, and that's why you started procrastinating. And right here, you immediately have some information about yourself. You can find what you love doing by being bored. Because in those moments, you tend to do what you actually enjoy. But to perceive this, you need a certain level of self-awareness to understand it. Self-awareness is the key to unlocking your creativity from your boredom. In this non-stop world, taking a step back and doing nothing can be your most productive and self-development time. When you do nothing, when you procrastinate, it's time that you are with yourself. It's a chance for you to be alone with your mind, with your thoughts, to understand yourself, to learn more about yourself, and to just compose your thoughts and just overall your mind. If you simply sit back and deeply think about certain things, whether it be something that happened today or something that's been on your mind that you haven't had the chance to think about, it can be very insightful and enlightening. It can lead on to a new idea, or even an observation that you haven't thought about just yet. When you think about all this time you spend enjoying yourself, that belief and that feeling, it's almost always this disconnection, that belief of a disconnection from work. Perhaps you're in the wrong job altogether, or maybe just a bit of reflection can actually help merge those two and bring those together and just make your work or gratifying. You accumulate a lot of knowledge just being lazy, just sitting there and reading news, consuming videos, all these different media sources. They can tell you a lot about the world and a lot about yourself. There's a lot of data that in what you do and what you see, and what that data is going into is basically this idle database that you have in your mind that you never know when it might become useful. You can reference it in your work or assignments. So I don't know if you've ever been in a position where you have an assignment due. Let's say you have to prepare a presentation for work, and instead you're watching your favorite film for like the 1,000th time. What you can do is if you break it down and find the parallels between these two, you can see that the correlation between them is that you both are trying to deliver a story effectively. And you can use this. How about taking the paradigm of that film, of your favorite film, and the structure to shape your presentation? It's basically like you're creating your own film, but just converting it into a different format. And wouldn't work presentations be much more interesting if they had a surprise ending or a twist at the end? Not only will it improve the way you deliver your message, but wouldn't you also be more excited to present something like that? Watching other people do things or watching other things done by people, like film or TV or music, it can inspire you to create more, to generate new ideas, and it gives you points of reference. If you think about it, it's not much different to reading a report for school, for work, or doing research. You just need to switch your perception of this. It's figuring out how to use what is seen as a weakness and instead see it as a benefit, as a strength. There's also a lot in that process for you to figure out about yourself, especially your self-growth. For me, being lazy in school is what led me to what I wanted to do and to develop my interests. And I did this a lot by daydreaming, when I should have been paying attention to my teacher at school. Instead, I was daydreaming about things I would rather do instead of being in that history lecture. I would think about videos and photography, things that I enjoyed much more, and interests that I actually developed because I was too lazy and bored to do my homework. And it is still something I do a lot. I'd probably do it if I was where you are right now, if I was sitting there. I like to evaluate everything I do, to perceive and to envision myself where I want to be in life. So if I were where you are, I'd probably be thinking what it'd be like to be here right now and what my talk would be about. I think that doing that gives me a goal, a vision for myself, and subconsciously I believe it influences every decision I make. It's like the law of attraction. You think about something so much that it'll happen. Of course, I didn't realize this back then when I started doing it, and it took years for me to understand it and for any of it to actually pay off and get me to where I am today. But I wouldn't have discovered what I wanted to do in life had it not been for those moments, had I not been bored. I wouldn't have learned what I know had I not been lazy enough to not learn the other things. Ultimately, it's very obvious the things that you enjoy are the things that you try to understand. It's the things you invest more time in. It's just effortless, and you don't force it. So in those moments when you don't want to work, maybe sit back and reflect on whatever you're doing next, rather than force yourself and reflect on what you're trying to force yourself to do. Don't be scared to do this. Don't be scared to procrastinate. Don't be scared to be lazy, to just sit back and kind of relax for a bit. What I encourage you to do is to be comfortable with your laziness. I'm not saying that you should spend the rest of your life watching YouTube videos. You should definitely have some self-control, but don't discourage yourself or feel guilty for doing it. Just think why, or see what you're doing and how you can turn it around to benefit you. Be lazy and curious. Expand your thoughts during these times, but try and be self-aware and attentive to extract that value. When you develop the ability to reflect on that and understand what you're doing and use that to your advantage, those moments become productive. And it's almost like you have your own superpower, because you can be lazy and still be productive, which, for me anyway, it's a dream. You might just find what is most important to you while doing nothing. And if you worry because you see all these people who have so much going on, they seem so successful, in life it's about being the best, not the fastest. Focus on yourself, not others. And if you're lazy, be lazy. There's never been a better time to be lazy. With all this technology right now, so just make use of that. And just go at your own speed as long as you know where you're trying to get to. Keep a sense of focus, even in those lazy moments, and you'll get value from them. Many see laziness as being still, not doing anything useful, but it may just be the most important thing that you do. If we look at some people, they try and they rush to get to the plane, to the train, to the bus, but we're all going to arrive at the same place at the same time. In fact, I love public transport. I like public transport because I can just sit there, listen to music, and think. I'm standing still, but I'm still on the way to my destination.